Good afternoon, everyone. In case there's any confusion about what we're talking about today, just look right over my head. And welcome to the Saturday afternoon live broadcast to Facebook and to YouTube of our Zoetic meditations, our presentations. So I'll get to today's topic in just a minute or two, but I wanted to start with just going over a couple of announcements. So in the domain of getting fancy, I'm going to show our contact information there. I'm going to go over a few things. So what's scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now is our email address and the phone number that you can call in to reach us. Now, if you're watching this on Facebook, you can also message us, hit the messenger button and get to us. All those numbers will get to the founder, Leora Brunn. If you're watching this on YouTube, use the email address because I don't have a system yet by which Leora reads the posts that you put on here. If you try to message her through YouTube, I haven't worked that out yet. But I do want to thank you for being here today. And I wanted to go over a couple of things before we got to today's announcements. Okay, good. So I'm presuming, the way that Sherry, just so you know, I'm presuming that's you that I see there. And on my screen, it just says Facebook user. So I'm not sure if you are watching this through the Zoetic group page or the business page. And I think that may be what's affecting it. We're learning as we're going. We're going to continue, and I'm glad it sounds good. All right, work hard to make sure this works. So the very first thing I'd like you to do is that you reach down there to the left lower hand corner, right next to where you type in your comments, and click that share button and repost this to your timeline. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, share this with your friends or share this onto your Facebook page. We want your friends to know about what we're up to. And people we never will, this is pretty much one of our ways of reaching them. So if it's beneficial for you, please do share it. We do love your input. That's why I'm giving you the phone number and email address to send to. Like I said, you can message us. We want to hear your comments, criticisms, critiques, requests, anything like that. We'd love to know what you are up to, what you'd like from us, what we could possibly provide for you. Or if we goof on something, we want to know about that too. Now, one of the ways that you can celebrate with us is to register for one of our courses. We offer a series of 5 courses, but right now only one is available to register into because it's compatible with broadcasting over Zoom, which is our first level course, meditation. We actually offer that course 10 times a year, once a month, not in August or December. That never seems to work out. But we offer it almost every other month. So I invite you to take the workshop. If you've got questions about why or what you're going to get, reach out to us. You can get a sense of it by exploring around the Facebook page. You'll see a lot of our conversations, a lot of the things that we've said about it. You can also, I've also put, I believe there's a link to it in the description of this video. If not, I'll make sure that I add one in. So you can actually poke around there. But I will tell you, if you've ever explored anything that is highly experiential, there's no words that can do it justice. It's even hard enough to talk about it, as you can tell from my stuttering. But anything that you really want to know or feel about it, please get in touch with us. We'll be glad to go over it with you. And if you are interested, just to let you know, our next 2 courses are scheduled for March 12th through the 14th and April 23rd through the 25th. And we also want to encourage you to follow us on all social media that you can. We want to get the word out, but we also want to let you know, for example, that we would have, if it weren't for COVID, had a big celebration this past July, which was have been our 20th anniversary. So somewhere along the line, it's going to be safe for us to be together again and hug and do all that stuff. And we want you to know when that's happening so you can come join us. So one of the easiest ways for you to do that is to follow us here, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. We are posting there, and we'll let you know as these things happen. So we'd love to have you along. Now, another tool that you can take advantage of is a mobile app called Insight Timer. It's available on both iOS and the Google Play Store. And it includes meditations from people all over the planet. Various teachers, various providers, various subjects, various lengths, short to long. And you can literally go in if you're just like, hey, I've got a few minutes to meditate right now. And you can plug in a few key searches like how long you want it for, what topic you want. Do you want a male voice or a female voice? Do you want music in the background? Stuff like that. And they'll filter and give you several options to choose from. And boom, there you go. You can meditate right then and there. We have about, I think, just shy of 40 meditations and growing posted up there. Also, we are working with an amazing teacher by the name of Nanakasha. I put a link to her site on there. So we've taught with her before. We will teach with her again. She reaches a worldwide audience. And we recommend you look her up for her teachings and courses. And we're also kind of aware that some people, not a lot, but some people actually do much better in one-on-one coaching rather than a classroom setting. And if you're like that, one of the things that I encourage you to do is to get in touch with us to work with one of our coaches. We offer coaching at reduced prices while we're in COVID, but basic life coaching inside of the structures and the distinctions of Zoetic, which are hugely, hugely transformational. And you can get through the areas that you've been stuck in terms of personal finance, career, relationships, anything that really matters to you, that you've been pushing up against the ceiling and just not getting through. And what it takes is direct coaching who can see the things in your life that you can't see because you're living your life. And all the things that are barriers are already built in. Coach doesn't have those barriers. And they can work with you to punch through those things. And all of a sudden, there you are leading an extraordinary life. Not bad. Another thing that we're offering, in addition to our first level course, is it's a seminar series called Bridges to Freedom. It's 9 sessions, Sunday afternoons, starting September 26th. They go from 1 to 3 in the afternoon. So it's a little bit shorter than the regular classroom and stretched out over time. But in each class, you're given, we talk about a topic that can sometimes leave you stuck or anxious or cranky or whatever in life. And we give you a very simple technique and tool so that as you encounter these issues in life, you can bring this tool to bear on it. So we talk about things like forgiveness and compassion, curiosity, grace, and basically 9 different subjects that we talk about over 9 months. And you have about a month to practice it. We even give you stuff in print. And it's like, here's your homework. And you can do your homework as you see fit. It's your life. But you'll find by using these things that are actually incredibly easy to use and just right there at your fingertips, ready for you anytime you experience something other than this harmony within, this peace within. You can just take the case if there's something go on and actually practice it, and you'll find it amazingly applicable. One last thing about, one last thing to offer is that there's a very small cadre of people right now who are practicing via Zoom Qigong. It's a wonderful way to kind of wake your body up and your mind up in the morning. And if that's something you've been looking for, a team of people to come and play with, we invite you to come and join us it's literally pretty much every morning. I'll be honest with you, since it's my work schedule or something that's around it, the weekday mornings are quite early, but we do them a little bit later on the weekend. So you're welcome to join us. Just get in touch with us again through the contacts that I've already gone over. So thank you for your attention on that. Let me punch a couple of buttons here and switch that off. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about Desiderata. I had forgotten about it for years. I remembered afterwards, just like in the last few days, that I actually used to have a poster of this up on my wall in my room back when I was like early teens. I really don't remember how I came by it or where I came by it. But I actually found it inspiring then, and until I remember that fact, I always told people that like my spiritual journey began when I was in my like right around 20 years old, because I'd forgotten about this thing altogether. And then there's a long series of events. But I remember this now as something that actually moved me even back then when I was just a kid dealing with a kid's life. So this poem was written by a man named Max Ehrmann back in 1927. He was the son of German immigrants. He grew up in Terre Haute, Indiana. He's written other things as well. This is the one thing that's really well known, and it's done the same. There's been a lot of stories talked about its source, but everything I found points to this is the actual authorship of it. And it literally just popped back into my mind for, I don't know why, about 10, 11 days ago. And it's one of those ideas that just wouldn't go away. I kept thinking about it and thinking about it. And I kept thinking about this performance that an arranger by the name of Les Crane wrote back in the 70s, that play that on the third part of this. And the song just stuck in my mind, and it's an incredibly inspiring message. And it just kind of dawned on me that maybe we should talk about it together. Maybe there's a reason I remembered. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to play you a recording. You won't see it, but you'll hear it, of the poem, narrated by a man by the name of Shane Morris. So just hang with these words for a moment.
Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and the ignorant. They too have their story. Avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. If you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter. For always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interested in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, or in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune. But do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness. Beyond wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be. And whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy.
So as you can hear, there's a lot that could be talked about there. And we have whatever portion of an hour today we're spending together. And when I realized that, I said, I don't think I can cover in detail the whole thing. So what I'm doing is I've broken the poem into 3 segments. And we're going to talk a little bit about the first segment today, obviously the second segment next week, and the last segment 2 weeks from now. So today it's really just going to be, we're going to be talking about the first 5 sentences and talking about in little detail. And then we'll actually do a meditation that addresses what I think is the common thread through all of them. So the first part is pretty simple instruction. Well, they're all instructions, which is to go placidly amid the noise and haste and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. So you, at some points in your life, have been in placidness, in peace, in quiet, in calmness. It might not have been very long, but you've had that experience. And once you've had that experience, you actually have the ability to bring it into any space, regardless of how chaotic it's going on. And I realize that can be a challenge for a lot of people, because if you don't know how to do that, we all tend to be influenced by our environment. And I'll talk about that in a second, but I just want to encourage you to bring your peace with you wherever you go. Now, you can also be agitated, aggravated, righteously indignant, or whatever's appropriate for the moment. But it's important to be able to choose your being as suited the moment, rather than have other people choose it for you or force it on you. And as you do that, again, owning your own power, you'll gain develop the ability to be on good terms with people that normally you wouldn't abide, couldn't stand, but you'll actually find yourself able to do that. And if that seems a bit of a stretch, the things that I've already talked about today in terms of the workshops and the bridges to freedom, it's literally the kind of benefit that you get out of taking them. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others, even to the dull and ignorant. They too have their story. Now, one of the teachings that Leora gave me, it's in one of the courses, I can't remember which basically goes, truth is a voice of its own. I don't know who said that. She was quoting someone. But you have your truth, and you know your truth by virtue of how it lands inside of you. One of the other teachings that Leora gave me a long time ago was that our true path speaks to us, or our soul speaks to us through our emotions. So it's mostly going to be for me, it's a feeling that I get when I'm being true to myself. And when I'm being true to myself, I don't have to shout it. When I'm really being authentically true to myself, when you're being authentically true to yourself, people will turn their heads. It'll be like that old E.F. Hutton commercial. When you speak, they listen because you're being authentic and you're being true. Now, the trick for that, which goes along with listening to others, even when you form an opinion about their ignorance, it's called arrogance. It's the belief that you know something. And if you actually practice, actively practicing not knowing, even though you know the answer, you actually play like you don't. You don't know the next word that's going to come out of somebody's mouth. You don't know the next word that's going to come out of your mouth. And you take that pause and you just listen to them, or you listen to that quiet voice within, and that's what comes out of you. Then people's true stories will come out. Third part, avoid loud and aggressive persons. They are vexations to the spirit. And if you compare yourself with others, you may become vain or bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. This is going to bring in the distinction that I'm going to talk about. We're going to do the meditation on today, but it actually applies to all three of these sections. I mean, we've all been around loud and aggressive people, and maybe you are one of those loud and aggressive people. And you can get caught in a trap of thinking you should be that way or they should be some other way, rather than simply being with what's so. And there's things that you can do about that if you choose to have that kind of person in your life or choose not to. But as you compare yourself to them and think you should be that way, or they should be your way, or something like that, instead of being with what's so, these kinds of vanity of they should be your way, or this bitterness that they are that way, will start to rise up in your life. And you'll find yourself more and more disconnected from the people that you really want to connect to, because it'll become harder for you to practice that sort of thing with the people you love. Now, we talk about this in detail in the first level workshop meditation. The term that we use for it is called sympathetic vibrational frequencies. Hang with me. This is a phenomenon in physics, but it also applies to the human spirit. Now, this is what it looks like in day-to-day life. Just imagine you wake up in the morning and it's just you got up on the wrong side of the bed. You are cranky, you are annoyed, you are a complaint waiting to happen. It's like you would just as easily peel somebody's skin off their face as say hi to them. You're just like in a really, really bad mood. You ever had any wake up like that? So imagine that this is an imagination game here. So imagine you're like that, and part of your commute into work or wherever you're going is you stop by your favorite coffee shop, whatever that is. And you walk in and you're just grumbling and you get up and you're ready to place your order. And facing you is a barista who is kind, who's attentive, who's actually engaging with you eye to eye. They're not being obsequious. They're not trying to get anything out of you. They are genuinely being of service to you, not just you as a customer, but you as a human being. And if you can remember ever having that experience, I'm going to guess it was kind of hard to hang on to that anger, that annoyance. It just kind of dissipated in the space. Now, what happened is that person's love energy glommed all over you, and it evened out the crankiness. But basically, your energy aligned with their energy, and their energy soothed you and had you be calm and be able to go on in life. Now, the reverse probably has also happened to you as well. You might have gotten up one day in a fabulous mood. You got just the right amount of sleep. Back didn't hurt at all. God, I wish I could do that. The weather's great outside. Even your toothpaste tastes good. Go figure. But you're just in a great mood. You know, your puppies lick your face, but not too much. All the things that like that would just put you in a great mood. And you're driving to work along the highway, and all of a sudden somebody, boom, cuts right in front of you. No notice. Maybe even gives you a little friendly, not so friendly New York gesture. And all of a sudden you're shocked out of your own great mood. And all of a sudden you're angry, you're perturbed, your blood pressure goes up, your pulse increases, and you've got your own desire to speed up and pass them and cut them off just like they did to you. Well, the same thing just happened. Their energy glommed all over you, only in this case, it shaped you in the shape of fear. So it punctured your calm, your peace, and it left you shaped by that. So in the workshop, we give a visual demonstration that I can't put on screen right now, so I'm going to try to describe it. It's basically a 3-panel display that shows an approximation of what we say the energy of love is and the energy of fear is. Those are very much the opposing energies, love and fear. The experience of love is round and convex and accepting and graceful. The energy of fear tends to be spiky, pointy, edgy. And in human life, these energies intersect all the time. You talk to people, you meet people, even you're just anywhere in their vicinity. And these energies come together, and one of two things can happen. Number one, in the first example I listed above, the love energy fills in all those crevices and those cracks and those pokes in the fear energy and smooths it out. And it becomes love energy. The opposite would be what happened in the second example, where the fear energy comes in and punctures and reshapes the love energy. So now that the love energy is now spiky and cragged and shaped. So it's been shaped by the fear energy. This is what we mean by sympathetic vibrational frequencies. So when we talk about things like avoiding loud and aggressive people, that's what's going on. Now, there are things that you can be trained to do to protect yourself against that. And you may have already had some advanced training. If you're one of our graduates, you actually already know about the use of white light. But whatever technique that you've got, it's important that you bring it available to you in walkabout everyday life. It's not something you reserve for being in a classroom. It's actually useful no matter where you are, when you are, how you are. Because you never know what life is going to like you. Now, if you are in a rural area, you can walk down a road and pretty much have it to yourself. Not bad. But if you live in an urban area, New York, DC, Philly, any place like that, there's a lot of people on the sidewalk with you at the same time, which is a lot of different fields of energy. And one of the things that you can do for yourself is to protect yourself by, first of all, being aware that there is this phenomenon called sympathetic vibration frequencies. And number two, and I'll just say this very simply, and you'll have to do this however you do it in your own structures, in your own imagination, which is simply to surround yourself in a oval, egg-shaped sphere or column of white light. We go into the details of the metaphysics of that in the workshop, but I will tell you very simply right now that it is a potent form of protection in that it will repel back out away from you the frequencies, the harmonies that aren't in sync with you. They are discordant with you. And it will bring in those that are alike. And it'll make it easier for you to maintain your peace and calm and equanimity. So I want to lead you through a meditation that's going to give you an experience of being shaped by your environment in terms of these sympathetic vibrational frequencies. And I want to say just a little bit about the meditative technique before we actually go into it. Okay, so there are schools out there that teach about meditating to a still point of silence so that you eliminate all stimuli from the outside world. No hearing, no seeing, no smelling, no tasting, nothing like that. You become a still point of consciousness, which is probably pretty cool. I don't think I've ever done it. But that's not what we teach at Zoetic. We're kind of like the opposite. We're very aware that we're human beings in a physical body doing the work that we got to do in this lifetime. And being in a physical body, in a physical plane, means encountering things like dogs barking, phones ringing, an ambulance going by with the siren blazing, a door slamming somewhere else in the room because the wind caught it, something like that. These things happen in life. And what you can do inside the meditation is simply use those sounds or those sensations as a vehicle for bringing yourself even deeper into the meditation. Instead of pushing it away, instead of resisting it, just have it be part of it. And you'll find that if you're not resisting it, it'll just dissipate, it'll just drift away, and you'll actually be brought even deeper. So that's number one. Number two, for you who have not done one of our workshops, there is a way that we train our students to position their bodies that creates the most power within their personal physical energy system. It's not required for the meditation that I'm going to lead you through, but I invite you, especially if you're somebody who's meditated and not tried this, to notice the difference. Now, our label for it is called the three-fingered mudra. Mudra is a Sanskrit word that means gesture, seal, or pose. And what it does is connect the energy within you in an incredibly powerful way, as powerful as being in a full lotus position, but without nearly the back strain. I couldn't even get near it. But this is simple. I could do it sitting right here, right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to, except I'll be talking while you're listening. So the first component is your hands. And with your hands, you're basically going to touch these three fingers, the thumb, pointer finger, and middle finger together very lightly. Just let your hands drop wherever they would normally drop, your lap, your knees, wherever they fall, just let them fall. And don't be concerned if during the meditation they tend to drift apart because you're so relaxed. That's actually fine. Once you've established this energetic connection, it stays in place. So that's the first part. The second part is to sit in a way, and I'll get to sit or recline or lie in a way that has the soles of your feet facing each other rather than flat on the floor. Now, if you're seated right now, that's not a big deal. You can just spread your knees out a little bit, bring your feet together. But if you were reclining on the sofa right now, if you're lying on your bed, you're going to need to prop up your knees to do that, because the most important part of all the way that you position your body in this meditation is simply that you're not doing anything physically to hold yourself into place. Your muscles should not be engaged. The surface you're on should be doing all the work, and you just flop like you're melting. So that's the second part. Then the third part is a particular way that you'll position your tongue. Now, you may or may have not heard the term cleansing breath, but if you have, you know a little bit about what I'm talking about. So when you inhale through your nose, and you breathe deeply all the way down to your diaphragm. Matter of fact, one of the really cool things you can do is I think it's called wave breathing, where you expand the bottom of your lungs first, and then come up and expand your lungs up through there. And you're breathing in, and as you're breathing in, your tongue is touching your teeth and gum where the line is between them on your upper jaw. Where it would go if you were saying the letter L, just like that. And then when you exhale, you're going to drop your jaw and your tongue, and you're going to touch your tongue where your lower teeth and gum meet. And again, if you want to exhale that way too, simply allow, again, from the bottoms of your lung pushing up, you're pushing the air out of you. So going in, it expands out like that, and coming out, it contracts, goes out like that. It's an amazing calming effect on the nervous system. So that's the technique that's involved. So please take a moment now to get yourself comfy, cozy position for this one. I'm going to put on a little bit of music to kind of enhance the experience. I hope that's coming through. And if you haven't already done so, please close your eyes. And if you're wearing glasses, please do take them off. And make sure there's no body parts crossed, no hands interlaced, fingers, no arms crossed, your legs are not crossed, your ankles not crossed, nothing connected that way. All right. So close your eyes and just start to relax. And I'm going to guide you through a very simple relaxation technique to really allow your body to ease into the surface. So I actually want you to start at your crown, top of your head, and deliberately, consciously bring in, I'm going to call it relaxation energy. And how you know it's there is you can feel the muscles in your brow start to unwind, to unclench, almost like it's like wax melting in a hot sun. And feel that relaxation start to ooze and work its way down through your temples. So the little muscles that are in your temples start to unclench and relax. And the muscles around your ears relax. And the relaxation energy lowers down into your jaw, and your jawbone relaxes. And the energy keeps coming down through you, the back of your head and down your neck. And you can feel the individual cervical vertebrae one at a time just working themselves out, relaxing, releasing, and the muscles that are holding it in place just melting. So your whole neck is loose and limp. Now feel the relaxation work its way down through your collarbones and out to your shoulders, and just kind of drift down through your upper arms and feel your biceps and triceps just relax. Your elbows relax. Your forearms relax. Your wrists, your hands, feel the tendons that operate your fingers just completely melt. Now feel the energy as it drifts down through your torso, from your neck, down through the top of your lungs, along your rib cage, and down the front and back. As it goes down the back, your individual thoracic vertebrae, again, just kind of work themselves out. And the muscles that hold them in place are just relaxed and at ease. And your lungs are at rest. And your liver, your heart relaxes. Your stomach relaxes. All your internal organs just loose and limp. And the muscles that control your lumbar vertebrae and the sacral point and your hips just loose and limp. It should almost feel like you are so heavy that you're actually sinking into the surface you're on. And let the relaxation work its way down through your hips and your hip joints and into your thighs and quadriceps. And your upper legs are just loose and limp. Now the energy work its way down through your knees and all the ligaments that are there, just relax. They can take a little time off right now. And then the energy seeps its way down through your through your calves and your shins, and into your ankles, and down into your feet and toes. And just like with your hands, the little tendons that wiggle your toes and move your feet just melt. So your whole body is just loose and limp. Now I'm going to guide you through a visualization. And your job is just to experience what you experience in each part of it. And we'll talk about it very briefly at the end. So imagine that you're facing a door in your house to one of the larger rooms that's there. At the end of a hallway or off an L or something like that. Now, in your meditation, just reach out and take hold of that doorknob and turn it. Now, as you crack open the door, notice that the lights are out. So it's actually dark in the room when you open the door. Now step in through the door and then close it behind you. And then flip on the light, and the first thing you notice that everything in the room is a brilliant shimmering white. The chairs, the sofas, the beds, everything that's in the room, the pictures hanging on the wall, the window frames, the window panes, everything is just pure white. So shiny, so effervescent that it's actually hard to tell where one surface ends and the other begins. It's all just smooth, pure white. And there's just enough discernment, definition to be able to spot a nice easy chair recliner in the middle of the room. So go to that room, walk to that chair and sit down. And after you sit down, just take a look at your arms and notice that they're also pure white. And your legs and your toes and your tummy, all made up and covered with pure white light. Now just take a moment and notice what and how you feel. Now get up out of the chair and walk back over to the door that you came in. Take hold of the doorknob, flick off the light switch so it's dark in the room. Open the door, step out the door and close it behind you. Now turn back around and face the door again. Take hold of the doorknob and turn it, and step through the threshold into the darkened room. And this time when you flip on the light switch, the entire room is a brilliant fire truck red. Just this vivid red color, shining, shimmering. Just feel it all around you. The floor, the rug, the cat, the fridge, everything in the room is red, pure red. Now walk over to that easy chair in the middle of the room and sit down in it and just relax. And again, look around, look at your hands, and your fingernails are red. The palms of your hands are red. Your shoulders are red. And as you look around the room, the window treatments, the wainscoting, if there is in your room, everything in the room is this beautiful shade of red. And just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now get back up out of the chair and walk back over to the door you came in. Take hold of the doorknob and switch the light off. Open the door, step through it and close it behind you. Then turn back around, face the door again. Take hold of the doorknob, turn it and step through across the threshold into the darkened room. Close the door behind you. And this time when you flip on the light switch that's right there by the door, the entire room is made up of an earthy, verdant green, like the leaves of a plant. So everywhere you look, it's just green and more green and more green. and walk to the middle of the room and sit down in that easy chair and just relax and notice and look at your lap. It's green. Your tummy is green. Your pants, your shirt, everything green. Look around the room. Everything green. The lamps, the lamp shades, the carpeting, everything just earthy, verdant green. Now notice what you notice and just feel what you feel. Now get back up out of the chair, walk back over to the door that you came in, take hold of the doorknob and switch off the light, and turn the knob, open the door and step through the threshold out into the hallway and close the door behind you. And turn back around and face the door, take hold of the doorknob and open the door, step through and close the door behind you. And then when you switch on the light this time, everything is this shiny, exuberant yellow, like a field of sunflowers or a summer dress or anything that is brilliant yellow for you. The entire room is entirely made up this beautiful, brilliant yellow. Now walk over to the chair, sit down, relax. Maybe tug on the lever so you can lift up your feet. And just look around and notice that everything, including all of you, and everything in the room is made of nothing but this beautiful, lively yellow. Just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now, get back up out of the chair, walk over to the door that you came in, take hold of the doorknob, switch off the light, open the door, step through it, and close it behind you. And turn around and face the door again, take hold of the doorknob again, open it, step through into the darkened room and close the door behind you. And this time, when you switch on the light, everything is a beautiful rose pink, like quartz, like the most beautiful quartz crystal you've ever seen, with those various shades of pink, lighter, darker, almost white, but everything is that the rugs, the curtains, the ceiling, everything, just this beautiful rose pink. Just walk over to the chair in the middle of the room and have a sit. Relax. And notice that everything in the room, including everything about you, is this beautiful rose pink. And just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now get back up out of the chair, walk back over to the door you came in, put your hand on the knob, turn out the light, open the door, step through it, and close it behind you. And turn around and face the door again, and open the door, step through into the darkened room, and close the door behind you. And this time when you flip on the light switch, what you see is everything is in this absolutely shimmering turquoise. If you've ever been to an absolutely gorgeous beach like in the Bahamas or seen pictures of it, it's the color of the water, shimmering, translucent, turquoise. Everywhere, allwhere. Walk over to the chair in the middle of the room and have a seat. Relax. And just look around and notice that everything is in fact covered and made of this turquoise. And just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now get back up out of the chair, Walk over to the door, put your hand on the doorknob, switch off the light, open the door and step through it out into the hallway and close the door behind you. And turn around and face the door again. Take hold of the knob, turn it, step into the darkened room, close the door behind you. And this time when you flip on the switch, the entire room is covered and filled with this absolutely shimmering, gorgeous amethyst. Dark shades, light shades, just that gorgeous, most perfect crystal you've ever seen. Walk over to the chair in the middle of the room, relax, have a sit. Maybe even look at the cup of tea right next to you and notice that it also is amethyst. Your tea itself is amethyst. Have a sip. And just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Okay, now get back up out of the chair. Go to the door, take hold of the doorknob, switch off the light. Step out of the door, close it behind you. Turn around and face the door one last time. Take hold of the doorknob, step into the darkened room, close the door behind you. And this time when you switch on the light, just like we started out, everything is covered with pure white light. Every surface, the window panes, the windows, the window treatments, the tables, the chairs, the floor, carpets, rugs, beds, sofa, everything covered with pure white light, filled with pure white light. Now walk over to the chair that's in the middle of the room and have a sit. Relax and just look around you and notice that you and everything around you is covered with and made of pure white light. And just notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now get up out of the chair, go over to the door, get your hand on the doorknob, switch off the light, open the door, step through. Step out into the hallway, close the door behind you. And now open your eyes into the room you're in right now, where you joined me 50 minutes ago. And what I'm going to invite you to consider over the next couple of hours, days, whatever, is how each colored room felt different. Not better or worse, just different. Some were full of life. Others may have been full of peace. There were some that were left you absolutely in love. And there were some that may have left you antsy, like kind of out of sorts. And all of those are perfect because that shows how the simple frequency of the light in the room had a profound impact on you. So I want to give you that simple experience of what that's like in a meditation. So I want to thank you for your kind attention today. Without you guys out there, we wouldn't be. It's very simple. And we're grateful for the time that you spent with us this afternoon, or if you're listening later this evening, or whenever you're listening to us. And I'm going to remind you of something, especially if you've been following us along for a while, that this is the last daily broadcast. We've been doing them literally every day at noon. This is the last one. We're moving into this huge project, which we call our digital media project, where we'll be combining these broadcasts with podcasts, blogs, TikTok, you name it. We're going to try and get everywhere. It's going to be an ongoing process. But one of the first things you're going to see is our schedule's changing a little bit, which you may already know about. And it's pinned at the top of the Facebook feed if you weren't aware of that. which is simply will be broadcasting on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday will be a live broadcast in which you can talk directly with Leora. And Saturdays, after I'm done with this one and the next two series, will be a recorded broadcast of her. You won't be able to interact directly with that one, but you can always reach out to her based on what goes on. So for those of you who have been with us since we started doing these in March 30th, I can't tell you how grateful that we are for your participating with us and the time you've given us. So I want to thank you for your consideration today. I think, at least in the DC area, the weather's getting better. The rain, I believe, has stopped. Have a wonderful weekend. Take great care of yourselves. Namaste.